Do you remember the last time you stood up with ease? No wobbling, no reaching for the table, just standing smoothly, confidently like it used to be. For many people over 60, simple moments like these start to slip away. Not because you're lazy, not because you're just getting old, but because something vital inside your body is slowly fading, the strength of your legs. And here's the surprising truth no one's told you. Leg strength is one of the strongest predictors of how long and how well you'll live. Not your blood pressure, not your cholesterol, not even your weight, but your ability to rise from a chair, climb stairs, and keep your balance on uneven ground. I know that sounds simple, but behind it is a powerful biological network, connecting your brain, your nerves, your muscles, even your emotions. And more importantly, you can rebuild that strength, even if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Today, you and I will explore why your legs may be weakening, not just from age, but from lost communication between brain and muscle. The 3 essential vitamins that power leg strength, and how to take them properly to see real results. A simple 10-15-minute daily protocol that helps restore strength, balance, and confidence, without the gym, without the guesswork. Let me ask you this: if you could stand strong again, walk with stability, move without fear of falling, what would you do first? Take your grandchild for a walk, climb that second flight of stairs again, or simply get out of bed each morning with ease and certainty? If you're ready to reclaim the strength in your legs, and with it, the freedom to live fully, then stay with me. Because what we're about to explore is more than just information. It's a new way of moving through life, stronger, steadier, and more empowered, starting with your legs. 1. The longevity muscle. Why leg strength predicts your future. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I met a man named Frank. He was 72, a retired school principal. Sharp mind, warm smile, but he walked with a slow, careful shuffle. When I asked him about it, he laughed and said, "Oh, it's just old age. Comes with the territory, right?" But here's what struck me. Frank wasn't tired. He wasn't in pain. He was afraid of falling. And that fear had quietly reshaped his entire life. He stopped gardening. He avoided stairs. He even started saying no to family trips. Leg strength isn't just about walking, it's about freedom. What Frank and so many others didn't know is this: your leg strength is one of the most powerful predictors of how long you'll live and how well you'll live. Not cholesterol, not blood pressure, not even your weight. Numerous studies, including those published in the British Medical Journal and the Journal of Gerontology, show a clear pattern. The stronger your legs, the greater your chances of living longer, staying independent, and avoiding cognitive decline. Why? Because your legs aren't just big muscles. They're like the foundation of a house. Everything else relies on them. Your balance, your coordination, your metabolism, even your brain function. Here's the science behind it. When you strengthen your legs, you're not just improving muscle. You're improving blood flow to the brain, enhancing neuromuscular signaling, and reducing inflammation throughout the body. It's all connected. That's why older adults with strong legs are less likely to fall, less likely to develop memory issues, and more likely to maintain their independence well into their 80s and beyond. The lesson is simple but powerful. Strong legs don't just carry your body, they carry your future. And the good news: you don't need to start with squats or gym memberships. You just need to understand what's causing the decline and how to reverse it. Because weakness isn't inevitable. It's often a signal, one your body is asking you to notice. And that brings us to the next big question. What's really causing leg strength to decline after 60, and is it really just age? Let's take a closer look. 2. What's really making your legs weaker after 60? It's not just age. When we think of aging, we often imagine wrinkles, slower movement, maybe a few more pills on the kitchen counter. But here's something most people never hear from their doctor. The real reason your legs are getting weaker after 60 isn't just age. Let me explain. I once worked with a woman named Carol. She was 68, energetic, ate well, even walked every day. But she kept noticing something strange. Her legs felt slower, not just weaker. Like there was a delay between her brain saying move and her legs actually responding. She wasn't losing strength because she was inactive. She was losing strength because her nervous system was starting to disconnect from her muscles. Here, what's really happening inside your body. After the age of 60, many people experience something called neuromuscular decline. It's not just that your muscles are shrinking, it's that your brain and nervous system are having trouble communicating with them. Think of your brain like a conductor of an orchestra. It sends electrical signals down nerves to your muscles, telling them when and how to contract. But with age, that wiring becomes frayed. The signals get weaker, slower, or don't arrive at all. And when your muscles stop getting those signals, they stop activating properly. They shrink, they stiffen, they fatigue faster. Even a simple action, like stepping off a curb, can start to feel risky. And here's the kicker. This can happen even if you're eating well and staying active. Because without the right nutrients and support, the electrical system between your brain and muscles can't keep up. That's what happened with Carol. She didn't need more walking. She needed to rebuild the connection between her nervous system and her legs. The takeaway: weak legs aren't always about lazy muscles. Sometimes it's a communication problem. And that means it's fixable. You just have to know which switches to flip back on. And that brings us to our next chapter, because one of the most powerful switches in your neuromuscular system is a vitamin most people associate with bones, not muscles. Let's talk about vitamin D3 and why it might be the missing piece of your strength. Vitamin D3, more than just for bones, it powers your movement. When most people hear the words vitamin D, they think of bones. And yes, it's true, vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium and keep your skeleton strong. But what if I told you that's just the beginning? Because vitamin D, specifically vitamin D3, doesn't just help you stand tall. It helps you move. It's not just about structure, it's about function. I remember talking to James, a 73-year-old former firefighter, tough guy, independent. But over the last few years, he started feeling unsure on his feet. He told me, "I can still lift things, but when I stand up too fast, I feel like my legs forget what to do." He thought it was just normal aging. But when he got a simple blood test, something stood out. His vitamin D levels were shockingly low, and that mattered a lot. Here, D3 is critical for your legs. Vitamin D3 acts like a key in the lock of your muscles and nerves. It helps your brain send strong, clear signals through your motor neurons. Those are the wires that tell your muscles how and when to contract. Without enough D3, those signals get fuzzy. Reaction time slows. Balance suffers. Muscles weaken, not because they're lazy, but because they're not getting the message. And here's something most people don't know. Your fast-twitch muscle fibers, the ones that help you catch yourself when you stumble, are full of vitamin D receptors. No D3, no signal. No signal, no reflex. That's what was happening with James. He wasn't weak, he was disconnected. But the good news, within 8 weeks of correcting his D3 levels, he noticed something remarkable. I stood up from the couch one day and I didn't wobble, first time in years. He smiled like he had won the lottery. So here's the lesson. If your legs feel slower, shakier, or less responsive, it might not be just age. It might be a vitamin D3 deficiency. And it's fixable. Now, D3 isn't magic. But taken at the right dose, with the right timing, and in the right form, it becomes a powerful tool to restore movement confidence. We'll talk more about exactly how to take it later in the protocol. But before that, we need to unlock the next layer of the nervous system. Because if D3 is the switch that turns the signal on, then vitamin B12 is the wiring that carries it through. Let's talk about the nutrient that keeps your brain and your legs in sync. Vitamin B12, the forgotten connector between brain and legs. A few months ago, I got an email from a woman named Helen. She's 70, active, loves gardening, walks her dog every morning. But lately, she'd started noticing something unsettling. "It's like my legs aren't listening to me," she wrote. "I tell them to move, and there's a tiny delay. I've even tripped on flat ground. No injuries, no obvious weakness, just that strange, disconnected feeling like her brain and her body were out of sync." She'd had all the usual tests: blood pressure, fine; heart, healthy. But when she asked her doctor to check one more thing, everything started to make sense. Her vitamin B12 levels were low. So what does B12 have to do with your legs? A lot more than you think. Vitamin B12 is like the insulation on an electrical wire. It protects and supports your myelin sheath, the outer coating that lets electrical signals travel smoothly from your brain to your muscles. Without enough B12, those signals slow down, get distorted, or sometimes don't arrive at all. And you start to feel it. A little unsteadiness on stairs, a strange tingling in the feet, a slower reaction when stepping off a curb, or just a vague feeling that your legs are off. Here's the tricky part. As we get older, our ability to absorb B12 drops significantly. Even if you eat all the right foods, meat, fish, eggs, you might not be pulling the B12 out of them efficiently. Why? Because the stomach acid and enzymes needed to absorb B12 decline with age. And if you're taking medications like metformin or acid reducers for reflux, that makes it even harder. That's why many older adults develop subclinical B12 deficiency, where levels are low enough to cause symptoms, but not low enough to trigger a red flag on a standard blood test. That was Helen's situation. She wasn't anemic. Her blood tests were normal, but her nerves weren't getting what they needed. Once she started a daily sublingual B12 supplement, the kind that dissolves under the tongue and bypasses digestion, things changed. It wasn't overnight, she told me. But a few weeks in, I realized I wasn't hesitating anymore. I was walking like myself again. So here's the lesson. You can't power your muscles if the signal can't get through. And B12 is the cable that carries the message. If you've ever felt like your body is a half second behind your brain, or your legs feel numb to movement, even if you're strong, that could be your nervous system calling for help. Now that we've looked at how D3 switches on the signal and how B12 delivers it, there's one more critical piece of the puzzle left. What happens after your muscles fire? How do they relax, reset, and recover so you're ready to move again the next day? That's where a surprising mineral steps in, one that's often overlooked but absolutely essential after 60. Let's talk about magnesium, your muscles' built-in recovery system. 5. Magnesium, the repairman your muscles have been waiting for. A few winters ago, I met Robert at a local community center. He was 74, used to be a carpenter, and still liked to tinker with small furniture projects in his garage. But lately, something had started bothering him. Not pain, not weakness exactly, but this deep, lingering muscle fatigue. "I climb the stairs," he told me, "and my legs feel like they've run a marathon. I rest, but I don't bounce back like I used to. And at night, my calves twitch like crazy." Sound familiar? Robert didn't need more strength. He needed better recovery. And what was missing was magnesium. Here's what magnesium really does. Magnesium is like your muscle's on-site repairman. It helps your muscle fibers relax after they contract. It supports energy production inside your muscle cells. And it even calms your nervous system, especially at night. When your magnesium levels are too low, muscles stay tight and sore. Cramps become more frequent. Fatigue lingers longer than it should. And sleep, your body's natural recovery time, becomes light and restless. Here's something most people don't know. Your body needs magnesium to make ATP, the energy your muscles run on. But ATP, the energy itself, isn't biologically active unless it's bound to magnesium. That's like generating electricity without an outlet. The power's there, but your body can't use it. That was Robert's issue. He wasn't lacking effort, he was lacking fuel efficiency. Once he started taking a gentle evening dose of magnesium glycinate, things shifted. His leg twitches calmed. His sleep deepened, and slowly the fatigue started to fade. "I didn't realize how tired I'd gotten," he said. "Now I wake up and my legs are ready to go again." So here's the lesson. Building strength is important, but so is repair. And magnesium is the quiet partner that makes both possible. If you've ever felt like your legs stay sore longer than they used to, or that your body just doesn't recover like before, you might not need more action. You might need better recovery. Now that you understand how D3 powers your movement, how B12 sharpens the signal, and how magnesium supports deep repair, let's connect the dots and talk about what timing really means when it comes to these nutrients. Because even the best vitamins can fall flat if you take them the wrong way. Next up, when and how to take these nutrients for real, lasting results. 6. Timing is everything. When and how to take these vitamins for maximum impact. One morning, a gentleman named Larry stopped me after a community workshop. He was in his late 60s, very diligent about his health. "I take all my vitamins every morning, D3, B12, magnesium, fish oil, a multivitamin. I've done it for years, but honestly, I'm not sure it's doing anything." I smiled, then asked him one simple question. "When do you take them, and with what?" He thought for a second and said, "Usually right after I brush my teeth, with water, no food, just to get it done." And there it was, because when it comes to nutrients, timing isn't just a detail. It's a performance tool. Think of it like watering a garden. You could have the best seeds in the world, but if you water them at the wrong time or in the wrong way, they won't grow. Let's break this down simply and clearly. Vitamin D3. D3 is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it needs dietary fat to be absorbed well. Taking it on an empty stomach, like Larry did, can reduce absorption by over 30%, according to clinical studies. Best time? In the morning or at lunch, with a meal that includes healthy fats like eggs, avocado, or olive oil, and avoid taking it at night. D3 interacts with your body's natural clock, and taking it too late can subtly interfere with melatonin and sleep. Vitamin B12. B12 is water-soluble and supports mental clarity, coordination, and cellular energy. It pairs beautifully with your morning routine, right when your body is waking up and your brain is booting up. Best time? Take it in the morning, ideally alongside D3. And if you're using a sublingual form, dissolves under the tongue, you don't need food, it absorbs directly into the bloodstream. Just one tip. Don't take B12 too close to magnesium. B12 activates your system. Magnesium calms it. You don't want to hit the gas and the brakes at the same time. Magnesium. Unlike the others, magnesium is your evening nutrient. It relaxes the muscles, eases the nervous system, and supports deep, restful sleep, exactly when your body goes into repair mode. Best time? Take it 1-2 hours before bed. Forms like magnesium glycinate or citrate are gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. Avoid magnesium oxide. It's poorly absorbed and can cause digestive issues. That's what Larry adjusted. He moved D3 and B12 to breakfast, took magnesium after dinner, and within weeks he told me, "I'm sleeping better. I feel more steady. It's like things are finally clicking." Here's the lesson. It's not just what you take, it's when and how you take it that creates change. Because your body isn't a checklist, it's a rhythm. And when your supplements align with that rhythm, things work better. You feel the difference. Stronger mornings, calmer nights, less fatigue, more flow. Now that we've covered the what, the why, and the when of these essential nutrients, it's time to go even deeper into the smallest units of strength and energy inside your body. Your mitochondria, the tiny engines inside your muscles that power every step you take. Let's explore how these vitamins help recharge your legs from the inside out. 7. Your cellular power plants. How to recharge mitochondria in your legs. A few weeks ago, I had a conversation with a man named Walter. He's 76, used to hike regularly, but lately he'd noticed something odd. "I start my walk strong," he told me, "but after 10 or 15 minutes it's like the power just drains from my legs. I'm not sore, just tired. Not the kind of tired that comes from effort. The kind that feels like your battery is running out too soon. And that's exactly what was happening. Walter didn't have a muscle problem. He had a mitochondria problem. So what are mitochondria and why do they matter for your legs? Inside every muscle cell are thousands of tiny structures called mitochondria. You can think of them like little power plants. They take nutrients from your food and turn them into ATP, the energy your muscles use to move. But here's the thing. After age 60, your mitochondria become less efficient. They produce less energy, break down faster, and recover more slowly. That's why activities that used to feel effortless, climbing stairs, walking uphill, standing for long periods, start to feel harder. It's not just aging. It's an energy deficit at the cellular level. And here's where our three nutrients come back into focus. Vitamin D3 supports mitochondrial function by reducing oxidative stress and helping regulate energy production pathways inside your cells. Vitamin B12 is essential for converting carbohydrates into usable energy. Without it, mitochondria can't run efficiently. Magnesium is required at every single step of ATP production. In fact, ATP doesn't work unless it's bound to magnesium. So if you're low in any of these nutrients, it's like trying to run your home on half-charged batteries. The lights flicker. The power cuts out early. That's exactly what Walter was experiencing. Once we adjusted his supplements, D3 in the morning with food, sublingual B12, magnesium before bed, along with a simple 10-minute morning walk to stimulate mitochondrial activity, he noticed something shift within 2 weeks. I didn't just walk longer, he said. I felt more alive doing it. The takeaway: strong legs don't just come from muscle, they come from energy. And energy comes from healthy mitochondria. And the best part: you can stimulate new mitochondria even later in life. Gentle movement, smart nutrients, consistent rhythms, it all adds up. Now that we've explored how to fuel your legs from the inside, let's pull everything together. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to turn this science into a simple daily rhythm, a step-by-step routine that fits your real life and helps your legs get stronger, steadier, and more responsive, one day at a time. 8. The real-world protocol, a day-by-day routine for stronger, smarter legs. Let me introduce you to Elaine. She's 71, a retired nurse who used to spend her days caring for others. But recently, her own body had started feeling unfamiliar. I'm not in pain, she told me, but I don't trust my legs the way I used to. I avoid curbs. I second-guess stairs. I move slower, not because I want to, but because I'm afraid not to. She wasn't weak. She wasn't sick. But she was losing her confidence in movement, and that's something many people over 60 quietly face. So we put together a routine. Nothing extreme. No gym, no pressure, just a rhythm, something her body could rely on day after day. Within 3 weeks, she felt a difference, not just in her legs, but in her mindset. I feel like I'm moving forward again, she said, literally and emotionally. So here's the protocol we used, simple, science-backed, and easy to follow. This isn't a to-do list. It's a daily rhythm, one that supports strength, balance, and recovery, all in under 15 minutes a day. Morning, activate and energize. Hydrate plus gentle movement, 5-10 minutes. Start your day with a glass of water and a few minutes of light movement. This could be a short walk, light stretching, or even standing calf raises at the kitchen counter. Why? Gentle activity wakes up your mitochondria and primes your nervous system for the day. Take vitamin D3 plus B12 with breakfast. Make sure your meal includes some healthy fat, eggs, avocado, nuts. D3 supports neuromuscular activation. B12 supports nerve-muscle communication. If you're using sublingual B12, it dissolves under the tongue and doesn't need food. Optional: 5 minutes of leg-focused activation. Simple bodyweight movements. Sit to stand from a chair. Balance holds. Stand on one foot while brushing your teeth. Resistance band steps. These movements tell your body, We're using these muscles today. Keep them strong. Afternoon, maintain and support. Move every hour. Set a timer or link movement to daily habits, like after phone calls or before lunch. Even 2-3 minutes of walking keeps blood flowing and nutrients circulating. Prioritize protein at lunch. Aim for 20-30 grams of high-quality protein. After 60, your body becomes less responsive to smaller protein doses. This is called anabolic resistance. So getting enough protein at each meal matters more than ever. Evening, recover and rebuild. Take magnesium 1-2 hours before bed. Choose magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate. This supports muscle relaxation, nervous system calm, and deeper sleep, the foundation for overnight recovery. Wind down with intention. Limit screens before bed. Try 5 minutes of deep breathing, reading something calming, or listening to gentle music. This signals to your body it's time to repair. The big lesson here: you don't need intensity, you need consistency. You don't need to push harder, you need to recover smarter. Just like Elaine, you don't have to overhaul your life to regain control of your legs. You simply need a rhythm that speaks your body's language, clear signals, calm repair, steady strength. And now, as we near the end of this journey, let's take a step back. We've talked about the nutrients, the timing, the energy systems, and the daily actions. But what does all of this really give you? In the next and final part, we'll look at what strong legs truly represent and the deeper freedom they unlock. 9. What you gain when you strengthen your legs, the deeper why. Earlier this year, I visited a local park on a Saturday morning. There was a woman there, probably in her early 70s, walking slowly along the path. At first glance, nothing unusual. But what caught my attention was the way she walked, steady, upright, and completely at ease. Beside her were 2 little girls holding her hands, laughing as they skipped along the edge of the sidewalk. Later, we struck up a conversation. Her name was Janice. She smiled and said, "A year ago, I wouldn't have even attempted this. One stumble on a cracked path and I'd panic. But now, I don't think about falling, I just enjoy being with my granddaughters. And that's the deeper reason we do all of this. Yes, stronger legs reduce fall risk. Yes, they support balance, mobility, and independence. But most importantly, they give you something even more powerful: freedom. The freedom to walk without fear. The freedom to climb stairs without holding your breath. The freedom to travel, explore, garden, carry groceries, hug your grandkids without hesitation. Because when you strengthen your legs, you don't just improve your body. You reclaim your autonomy. You restore your confidence. You rebuild your relationship with movement. Too often, we're told that decline is just part of aging. But the truth is, aging doesn't have to mean shrinking. It can mean growing wiser, moving smarter, and living fuller. You're not too late. You're not too far gone. Your body still listens. It's waiting for direction. So here's the quiet truth. When you invest in your legs, you're not just investing in muscle. You're investing in your future. And that brings us to our final step. Let's pause and bring it all together. In this last section, I'll walk you through a simple recap and offer you one small challenge that could change everything starting tonight. 10. Final thoughts. The one small step that starts it all. So let's take a moment and step back. You've just walked through the full picture, not just of leg strength, but of what keeps you moving, what keeps you connected, and what truly supports your independence as you age. You learned that vitamin D3 isn't just for bones. It activates the nervous system, helping your muscles fire when you need them most. Vitamin B12 is the wiring. It keeps the signal from your brain clear, sharp, and fast. Magnesium is the quiet hero that helps your muscles relax, recover, and rebuild while you sleep. We talked about timing, how when you take these nutrients matters just as much as what you take. We explored mitochondria, those tiny power plants inside your legs, and how they determine whether your muscles stay strong or burn out too soon. And then we built it all into a real-world, doable protocol, one that fits your life, not fights it. But beyond all the science, Beyond the studies, the supplements, and the routines, there's one reason this truly matters, so you can live life on your own terms. So you can say yes to things again. Yes to that trip. Yes to dancing at a wedding. Yes to climbing the stairs without hesitation. Yes to being the strong, present grandparent, parent, partner, friend. So here's my challenge to you starting tonight. Pick one small action from this protocol. Not all of it. Not perfectly. Just one. Maybe it's taking magnesium before bed. Maybe it's going for a 5-minute morning walk. Maybe it's asking your doctor to check your vitamin D levels. Because once you feel the difference, even in something small, you'll know it's working. And that feeling, it creates momentum. That's how change begins, quietly, gently, one confident step at a time. If this video helped you see your health and your future in a new light, I invite you to like this video, subscribe for more science-backed, age-positive insights, and share it with someone you care about. Because strength isn't just something you build, it's something you share. Until next time, stay strong, stay curious, and keep moving forward.